Project Rebirth. Steve Rogers became the world's first and only successful subject of Project Rebirth, transformed by the perfected serum and Vita rays into Captain America. Years earlier, Dr. Abraham Erskine began developing the Super-Soldier Serum in 1930s Germany, later escaping to the United States to continue his work with the Strategic Scientific Reserve. June 1943 marked a turning point. Thanks to Stark Industries' technology, Rogers endured a grueling injection process, his screams echoing through the lab. Yet, by the experiment's end, he stood at the peak of human capability, taller, stronger, faster, and free of his former ailments. Tragically, Heinz Kruger assassinated Erskine, bearing the serum's formula with him. The experiment's success could never be fully replicated, and Captain America, as Rogers was now known, became a symbol of heroism and hope for generations to come. The legend of the Super-Soldier Serum began with him, shaping the destiny of many. Gamma, Bruce Banner, a brilliant scientist, was the first to attempt replicating the Super-Soldier Serum using gamma radiation instead of Vita rays. In 2005, General Thaddeus Ross, hoping to create a new generation of super soldiers, selected Banner to lead the project. Renowned for his expertise in biochemistry and nuclear physics, Banner experimented on himself, resulting in the birth of the Hulk, a massive, rage-fueled force of nature with strength unmatched by any other subject. For years, the Hulk and Banner existed as separate personalities, often at odds, causing chaos and uncertainty wherever they went. Following the events of Infinity War, Banner achieved the impossible by merging his intellect with the Hulk's physical might, becoming Professor Hulk. Banner's journey from scientist to superhero and his struggle for control highlight the unpredictable consequences of tampering with the Super-Soldier Serum formula, especially when gamma radiation is involved. Golden Serum. Robert Reynolds was the only subject to survive the Golden Sentry Serum, a powerful and unstable formula created as part of Project Sentry, designed to forge the ultimate superhero. All previous test subjects perished, but Reynolds gained not only godlike power, speed, and durability, but also a powerful healing factor that allowed him to recover from virtually any injury. His feats became legendary. Reynolds could easily overpower teams like the Thunderbolts, and he stood unmatched among super soldiers. However, the serum's immense power spawned a dark alter ego, the Void, a shadowy entity capable of enveloping entire cities in darkness and forcing its victims to relive their worst nightmares. The struggle between Reynolds and the Void became central to his existence, turning his powers into both a gift and a curse. His journey serves as a warning about the dangers of unchecked power and the unpredictable nature of experimental serums. Hydra version. Bucky Barnes, once presumed dead, became the first successful subject of Hydra's super soldier experiments after surviving a near-fatal fall. In 1943, Arnim Zola began testing a newly developed serum on captured American soldiers. Aiming to replicate the success of Project Rebirth. Unlike earlier versions, Hydra's serum did not cause catastrophic side effects, allowing Bucky to gain strength comparable to Steve Rogers without dramatic changes to his appearance. After surviving his ordeal, Bucky lost his left arm but was retrieved by Hydra, who fitted him with a cybernetic replacement. Through intense psychological conditioning and brainwashing, Bucky was transformed into the Winter Soldier, Hydra's deadliest assassin. Over the years, Bucky's reputation as a relentless killer grew, but traces of his former self remained, fueling his struggle to break free from Hydra's control. His story highlights the moral cost and trauma inflicted by forced enhancement and manipulation. American Emil Blonsky, a British Royal Marine, was the first to receive the American recreated variant of the Super-Soldier Serum, created by General Thaddeus Ross in May 2010. The serum was injected via deep tissue and bone marrow, an excruciating process that left Blonsky transformed into a formidable super soldier with enhanced strength, speed, and agility. Unlike previous versions, this variant brought severe side effects, including rapid physical deterioration and psychological instability. Driven by obsession, Blonsky later combined the serum with Bruce Banner's gamma-irradiated blood, causing a violent mutation into the monstrous Abomination. As the Abomination, his power rivaled even the Hulk's, but the transformation left him deformed and perpetually aggressive. Over time, Blonsky learned to control his monstrous form, but his journey stands as a cautionary tale about the unforeseen dangers of mixing experimental formulas and the consequences of unchecked ambition in the pursuit of power. U.S. government. Isaiah Bradley, an African-American soldier, became the sole survivor of the U.S. government's post-war super-soldier experiments, a chapter marked by secrecy and tragedy. After the success of Steve Rogers, authorities sought to mass-produce super soldiers but used African-American soldiers as test subjects for flawed serum variants. Most suffered debilitating effects or died, but Bradley survived and was deployed in the Korean War, where he famously overpowered the Winter Soldier. Instead of being celebrated, Bradley was imprisoned for years, his existence erased from the public record. His blood was repeatedly harvested by organizations like Hydra and the CIA, desperate to replicate the serum's effects. Bradley's story reveals the dark side of scientific advancement and the racial injustices entwined with the super soldier legacy. Despite personal sacrifice and suffering, Isaiah Bradley became an unsung hero whose courage and endurance shaped the hidden history of the super soldier program. Soviet serum. Alexei Shostakov, known as the Red Guardian, was the Soviet Union's only successful super soldier, created during the later years of the Cold War as their answer to Captain America. After the USSR managed to replicate the serum, Alexei received the only viable dose, granting him remarkable strength and durability. As Red Guardian, he was dispatched on covert operations and propaganda campaigns, embodying Soviet ideals of heroism and power. However, despite his formidable abilities, Alexei struggled to match the skill and combat efficiency of his American counterparts, particularly the Winter Soldier. His exploits became legend in Russia, but his brash personality and lack of discipline often led to trouble. The Soviet experiment was never repeated, making Alexei a unique figure in super soldier history. His journey reflects both the ambitions and limitations of Cold War-era science, as well as the personal cost of becoming a living symbol. Prototype. Johann Schmidt, better known as the Red Skull, became the first subject of the prototype super soldier serum in 1940. While Dr. Abraham Erskine was refining his formula in Germany, Wilfred Malik leaked the primary ingredients to Hydra. Schmidt, eager for power, injected himself with the unstable prototype. The effect was dramatic. He gained increased strength, speed, and intelligence, but the lack of proper radiation exposure caused horrifying facial deformities, transforming him into the Red Skull. Schmidt's transformation was both a physical and psychological shift. He embraced his monstrous appearance and used his new power to lead Hydra in a campaign of terror across Europe. The prototype serum's flaws were never fully corrected until Erskine's later work. Schmidt's fate serves as a warning about the perils of impatience and the danger of wielding power without restraint or understanding the consequences of an unperfected formula. Replica. Carly Morgenthau led the Flag Smashers in using the Nagel Replica, a refined super soldier serum created after Hydra's collapse. The CIA recruited Dr. Wilfried Nagel, who succeeded in developing a serum based on samples from Isaiah Bradley's blood. Unlike earlier formulas, Nagel's version produced no visible physical changes in its users and could be self-administered, making it efficient and easily distributed. In 2024, Carly stole several vials and shared them among her followers, granting them superhuman abilities. Helmut Zemo later destroyed most of the serum, but one vial was recovered by John Walker, who used it to become a super soldier as well. The Replica serum's legacy is one of accessibility and chaos, empowering ordinary people with extraordinary power. Carly's story demonstrates how the democratization of enhancement can destabilize societies and provoke new conflicts, underscoring the unpredictable impact of scientific breakthroughs. Stark serum. Stark, the Siberia group of Winter Soldiers, became the first to receive the Stark-derived serum after Hydra orchestrated the assassination of Howard and Maria Stark in December 1991. Howard had successfully replicated the super soldier serum using Steve Rogers' blood, and Hydra wasted no time stealing the formula. Their elite squad, known as the Winter Soldiers, was injected with the new serum, which did not require Vita radiation and granted even greater strength than previous variants. However, the serum's side effects were severe. The recipients became dangerously aggressive and increasingly difficult to control. Eventually, their instability forced Hydra to put them into cryogenic stasis, hoping to contain the threat they had created. The Stark-derived serum's legacy is one of power and tragedy, as the same science that created heroes also spawned uncontrollable monsters, highlighting the fine line between progress and peril in the pursuit of super-soldier perfection. So, whether it's gamma-infused, Stark-synthesized, or a golden cocktail of cosmic power, the Super-Soldier Serum is rarely a gift. It's a mirror. It takes whatever is inside a person, good or bad, and makes it the world's problem. Which one do you think was the most dangerous, and which serum would you choose? Share your thoughts in the comments, and remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay updated with more videos.